Hi guys! As some of you may know, I'm hosting a mythology collab this month. For this video, I'll be showing you how I made my own doll for this collab. I chose to make Persephone, the goddess of spring and queen of the Underworld. I really love the dichotomy between somebody whose whole thing is flowers and spring and stuff like that, and somebody who's also basically the queen of hell. Since she's a goddess, I wanted Persephone to be much larger and grander than the rest of my dolls, so I got my hands on a 17-inch Draculara. The posing with these big dolls is really lovely since the elbows and knees have double joints, allowing for a much larger range of motion. Look, she can actually touch her face and everything. I can't wait, so let's get started. I start the same way I start with all of my dolls, cutting off the hair as close to the root as I can, and removing the factory paint with 100% pure acetone. Under the paint, the eyes were sort of strange. On the smaller dolls, it's usually a smooth, slightly domed piece of vinyl, but on this one, it's much more textured, like the plastic has been scratched or something here. I was worried about it at first, but once you start drawing the eyes on, you really can't see it at all. I think it also gave my pencil something to grip onto. The heads on these bigger dolls are thicker than what I usually work with, and I've heard other artists say that they have issues getting the heads off. Some have even broken neck pegs. I have yet to break a neck peg on a regular sized doll, so I have no idea how to fix that. So to be extra careful, I let her head soak in the boiling water for a full 15 minutes. Even with how soft the head was, I still had issues pulling it off. But with enough tugging and yanking, her head finally came off. Next comes pulling out all the glue from the inside of the head. I ran into some issues here too. In a normal Monster High doll, the glue comes away in chains or clumps, but in here the head is big enough that each plug gets its own little plug of glue to keep it inside, so it's not touching the other plugs, so it won't come out in a clump. It took a lot longer to get the hair out. I even ended up cutting open the back of the head so I could get in there with my pliers. And it's really just a lot of scraping and pulling and patience. I wanted her head really clean because I plan on rerouting this doll. So all in all, it took me a full hour just to get her head cleaned up. Oh my god, I need a drink. I painted over her black scalp with an auburn color and began rerouting. Soon enough, her hair is finished and ready to be wrapped in a piece of scrap fabric. On to the blushing. For this doll, I wanted a fairly light, no makeup look, though I still contour her cheeks and temples. Since Draculara has a pastel pink skin tone, I blush her with browns and a little red to try and tint her skin more towards a human skin tone. I also blush her body. I begin sketching in her eyes with a brown color. I've tried doing this in my peach pencil so that the lines will melt away a little bit more, but it's too light. I have a really difficult time seeing it, so I end up just switching to this brown pretty early on. Speaking of pencils, these are my fancy new Faber-Castell pencils that my grandma got me for Christmas, so big thank you to my grandma. These pencils work so much better than my last ones. The color is much more vivid and actually sticks to the vinyl. I was amazed at how clearly my first layer went on. I'm sketching in with a light color here, along with the browns. I'm going to go in with a light colored green so that I can build that color up from there. I'm going with green eyes this time and thicker brows than I usually do, and I've got to say, I really like the chunkier brow more than my normal look. I spend a good amount of time outlining the eyes in a dark green, accenting highlights and darkening the shadows around the eyes. Here I'm dotting on the pupils, and I'm keeping them pretty big for this doll, and I'm also putting them pretty close together as if she's looking at someone very close to her face. And the idea behind that is if I'm ever able to figure out how to get a male doll in this scale, I'd really like to make her a Hades to go along with her. These new pencils are so pigmented, I almost forgot to go in and smooth out the look by painting on the colors at the end. I add some highlights to the eyes and then break out my straw full of gloss to make the eyes and lips shiny. For the hair, I really wanted to get a deep side part, so when I came to boil wash her hair, I had to stick her head onto a knitting needle and tie that down to my doll base, hold the parts of the hair off to either side, and then pour the water over. Then I just put the stand down and got the rest of her hair. Looking at it again, the hair is probably long enough that I didn't really need to de-poof it. I guess I was just going through the motions a little. I want Persephone to have big wavy hair, so I got some cheap foam rollers and wrapped her hair into curls. Then I prepared a tub of boiling water and a tub of ice water and dunk her curls back and forth between the two tubs. The change in temperature will set the curl. Let her dry overnight and take out all the rollers. Honestly, I probably could have left her hair like this, but I wanted waves instead of curls, so I'm going to brush her hair out with a wig brush. I really like how this came out. It came out super wavy and bouncy. On to the outfit. I'm trying to stick with an ancient Greek look, but also make it look like a gown that a goddess might wear, so I'm thinking a long skirt is a must, and some sheer sleeves sound like fun. My sewing machine is slightly on the fritz, so I'll be hand sewing everything. I start by attaching the chiffon sleeves to the bodice, and make sure that you keep a body nearby to try the clothes on. You don't want to get through the whole outfit and then find out that it's too small to fit your doll. Next, I add a long rectangle with one side open to be the skirt. Since she's a spring goddess, I wanted her to show a little skin, so I'm going to try and keep the long slit for her leg to come out through. And now more sewing. Eventually, you'll end up with something like this. A lot of the dresses I saw online had a sort of a waistband, usually in gold, so I'm going to use this gold fabric to make one of those. I attached the skirt to the dress a little bit further than I really wanted to, so let's just cover that up with some flowers. I add tons of flowers to the hem of the dress, put some gold bands around the wrists, add a hairpiece, and now she's finished. Working on these big dolls is a little intimidating, if I'm honest. The base is more costly than the other smaller ones, and there's more material that goes into it as well, and time. But I think she came out really beautifully. I love the bouncy hair, and the dress came out a lot better than I thought it was going to at one point. What do you think of her? Let me know down in the comment section below. If you liked this video, give it a big thumbs up and subscribe for more doll customs. You can follow me on Instagram for behind the scenes stuff and sneak peeks. All my dolls are for sale over on Etsy, and all the links for this stuff is in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching, and bye for now!